Hello students, good morning to everyone. Welcome back to my science class here. Yes, we were talking about the keeping our earth clean, right? So in the previous class, what are all the concepts we have discussed? So that's about the our earth and some of the pollutions like air pollution, water pollution we have discussed, right? So air pollution as well as water pollution we have discussed, and now in today's class let us talk about the land pollution. So what is the land pollution? How can we prevent the land pollution? What we have to do for to prevent land pollution? What we have not to do? Let us discuss all those things in today's class, and also about the types of wastes that are producing the that are causes for the pollutions. Let us see here, right? So here coming to the land pollution. When harmful substances are mixed with the soil, it causes destruction of earth's or land surfaces. So this is known as land pollution. This often occurs when waste or is not disposed properly, or when this waste are thrown on into the soil. Yes, waste. So in the types of waste, we are having two types of waste, that is biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So mostly from domestic and industrial agriculture use, and also pesticides and insecticides, right? So here these are some of the wastes, that is agricultural waste, insecticides, pesticides. So these wastes are going to be thrown directly onto the land, so that the land pollution is caused, right? So here how this land pollution is mainly caused means, this is land pollution occurs when these harmful substances are mixed with the soil, right? So what are the harmful substances here? The harmful substances like chemicals, insecticides, pesticides, right? So these are some of the harmful substances when they are mixed with the soil, that causes the destruction of earth's land, so that causes the destruction of earth's land surfaces, right? So yeah, the land, the topmost layer of the land is called as soil, right? Here this is how this soil gets destructed, right? So yes, then what we have to do to prevent this land pollution means, yeah, we have to follow some rules, that is should not plant more trees. Trees keep the soil, sorry, so here we should plant more number of trees, because the trees, we all know that trees keep the soil firm and not allow the soil to get off or to erode easily, right? So now we shall discuss about the few points that prevent the land pollution here, right? So coming to the those points, how to prevent the land pollution or the soil pollution, and here we are having some points that what we have to do and also what we have not to do. So here coming to the what are the things we have to do is, here we have to, yes, we have to plant more number of trees, right? Because, so what is the main function of the root here means, here the root that's going to be hold the soil tightly, right? So that the topmost layer of the soil is not eroded by any of the what we can say climatic conditions like tides, right? So tides, tsunami, like that, right? So this is why we have to plant more and more number of trees, and here these trees keep the soil very tightly and not allow any of the things to get mixed with this soil easily, right? So we have to plant more and more number of trees, and in the same way waste should be disposed properly, right? So as I already told that this waste, we are having some types of the waste, that is biodegradable and non-biodegradable, right? What do you mean by biodegradable means, the waste which can be decomposed into the soil is known as biodegradable, and in the same way which cannot be decomposed in the soil is known as non-biodegradable. And here the waste from some vegetables, fruits, and some right, so the vegetables, what we can say, waste from vegetables, fruits, so anything, plants, right? So food waste, so these are said to be the biodegradable. And the non-biodegradable means the waste that is not going to be decomposed into the soil, right? For example, plastic. So plastic is a non-biodegradable thing because it never ever decompose into the soil, right? So if you dig the earth and if you dump the plastic materials or plastic anything, so if it is made of plastic, then if you leave it for months and years also, it is not going to be decomposed because plastic is a non-biodegradable, and also it pollutes the land. It mainly causes the soil pollution, so we have to avoid using this plastic bags. And also what we not to do means, so here we should not throw any waste, throw the waste at any places, like harmful waste harms the soil, so make it infertile, right? So here while disposing the waste, we have to dispose the waste, or we have to throw the waste at any, we should not throw it any place, but we should throw it in a distant places, like it is to be far from the villages, or it is to be far from the towns or cities, right? So here the waste materials all should be disposed out of the city. So this is what we have not to do. That means we should not throw the waste here and there in our villages or in the surroundings where we live, right? So here we are having checkpoint 1. So I have ticked the answer, and I just read the statements and tick the answers. Okay, next coming to the types of waste. Yeah, as I already told that there are two types of waste. So what are those? Biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Okay, so there are two types of waste. They are biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Waste like fruit peel, paper, wood can be decomposed or rot easily, and it can then finally mixes with the soil, and these are known as the biodegradable waste. Thus it doesn't harm the environment. In fact, it is useful for the soil. It makes the soil fertile, and so plants grow easily in that types of soil. And on the other hand, we are having some other waste like plastics, polythene bags, rubber and glass that do not decompose or rot easily. So this type of waste is known as non-biodegradable waste, and such wastes remain in the soil for very long time. Thereby they pollute our environment. Hence the soil loses its fertility and plants fail to grow in such type of soil. Yes. So here dear students, observe this. So the types of waste, there are mainly two types of waste. They are biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Okay, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Understood? So these are the two types of waste. So what do you mean by biodegradable and non-biodegradable? Means here biodegradable, the waste from the food, or the waste like fruit peel, paper, wood, and the waste from the food can also these type of waste. So that is waste from the food, peel, paper, fruits. So this type of waste can be decomposed in the soil easily. So this type of this type of waste is known as the biodegradable waste. And so one main reason is, so this biodegradable waste doesn't harm our environment. Instead this makes the soil fertility. Okay, and also these plants grow very easily, and they grow easily in this type of waste, because this type of waste makes the soil fertile, right? So this biodegradable waste is the one that is the waste from food, wood, paper, or anything, and this biodegradable waste can be decomposed easily into the soil and thus it makes the ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಫರ್ಟೈಲ್. ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ತರಕಾರಿಗಳಿಂದ, ಹಣ್ಣುಗಳಿಂದ, ಆಹಾರದಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಗಟ್ಟಿಗೆಯಿಂದ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಳೆತು ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಕಸ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಸ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಮಣ್ಣಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬೆರೆತು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದು ಬೆರೆತೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸಾಯಿಲು ಫರ್ಟೈಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಮಣ್ಣು ಫಲವತ್ತತೆ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಆ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಥರದ ತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದೇ ಥರ ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಕಸದ ಉತ್ಪನ್ನಗಳಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ರಬ್ಬರ್, ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್, ಪಾಲಿಥೀನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್, ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಕಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ವೇಸ್ಟು, ರಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪಾಲಿಥೀನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸಿಂದ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಥರದ ವೇಸ್ಟಿಂದ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಈ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಥಿಂಗ್ಸಿಂದ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೀಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸಾಯಿಲ್, ರೈಟ್? ಅದು ಸಾಯಿಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಮಣ್ಣಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆರೆತು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಮಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಮಲಿನ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ for longer time or longer duration in the soil, thus it pollute the soil or land. So the soil loses its fertility due to this, right? ಈ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್, ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಕಿಂದ, ರಬ್ಬರಿಂದ, ಪಾಲಿಥೀನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸಿಂದ ಆಗುವಂಥ ವೇಸ್ಟು ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟು. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಣ್ಣಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಣ್ಣೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಳಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳು ಬೆಳೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ಬಯೋಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಬಲ್. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್ biodegradable and non-biodegradable. And now let us move for the impact of pollution on wildlife. So animals living in the forest are known as wild animals. Yes, obviously the animals which live in ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ನೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಾಡು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಂತಾರೆ. ಹೌದು, ಅದೇ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? ವೈಲ್ಡ್ animals. So they are an essential part of wildlife. These animals are important for the benefit of our environment. So many wild animals are dependent on the trees for their survival. And animals like monkeys, koala bears spend most of their time on the trees. Forests are being destructed to create the cities, towns and factories. So if deforestation continue to happen, these animals will lose their homes. Many animals are dependent on the plants for their food, and this association between the plants and animals forms the food chain. If any of the animals or the plants lost, it will impact the food chain and it will causes the animals to die. And this will eventually create an imbalance in nature. So animals are dependent on water from lakes and rivers to quench their thirst. And if we continue to pollute our lakes and rivers, it can also harm our wild animals, right? So impact of pollution on wildlife. So this is mainly tells about that what actually this pollution ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫಿಗೆ, ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ all the animals, some of the animals that we know that lion, deer, tiger, right? So these type of the animals live in home. No, they don't live in home, they live in forest, right? Because they are carnivorous animals, right? So they eat flesh of other animals and live in forest and drink the water wherever it is available, right? So this is how they live. But when we start to destroy the forest, eventually there is a decrease in the trees, right? Decrease in the number of trees, so that so that the animals which live in the forest, which take the tree as their shelter, they eventually lose their shelter, right? ಸೊ ಅವರ ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರ ಮನೇನ ನಾವು ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂಕೀಸು, ಕೋಲಾರ್ ಬಿಯರ್ಸು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಮರದ ಮೇಲೇ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡಿರೋ ಥರ ಮಂಕಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮರದ ಮೇಲೇ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಕೋಲಾ ಬಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಥರ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಣಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಕೋಲಾ ಬಿಯರ್ಸ್, ಮಂಕೀಸ್ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ, ಮರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತವೆ, ಮರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತವೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ, ಹೌದಾ? ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಗಿಡಗಳನ್ನ, ಮರಗಳನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಟೀಸ್ನ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ನ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತ ಹೋದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾರನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕಡಿದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾರನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಹೌದಾ? ಈ ಥರ ಬ್ಯಾರನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ವಾಸ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅವರ ಮನೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಅವರ ಹೋಮ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು completely avoid the cutting of trees. This is the main reason for that, right? So here in nowadays we are going to cut the trees, plants for our own, to satisfy our luxurious needs, right? To construct our wonderful and luxurious buildings, we are destroying the trees, we are destroying the home for several animals, right? So this is absolutely wrong, because here we are destroying the shelter of wild animals, right? So we have to avoid that. We have to almost avoid the cutting of trees, because that mainly affects our wildlife, right? So here we should stop cutting off trees. And here, if deforestation also continue to happen, these all animals will lose their houses. And in the same way, so we know that all the animals are dependent on each other for the food, right? So for example, lion which eats other animals, right? So like for example, deer. Let us take deer as an example here. So lion eats deer. So if we start cutting off the trees, and if we hunt these deer, means even gradually there is a decrease in number of deers, then what lion will do? Lion will enter into the cities for its food, right? So that harms to us only, that directly harms to us. So we have to avoid this one. So here whenever we also destroy the trees, so and we know that some of the animals are dependent on plants for their food, like for example cow, zebra, giraffe, right? So these deer, these animals are dependent on plants for their food. So if we cut the plants and if we cut the trees, what they should eat, right? We should think that also. There the food chain, that is the food chain means actually all the animals are dependent on each other for their food. So that makes the food chain. And if we cut all the trees in the forest, means that mainly results in the food chain, that mainly affects the food chain, and that results in the imbalancing of nature, right? So we should avoid the cutting of trees, and we should avoid the pollution. Okay, now we shall talk about the reuse, reduce and recycle. So reduce means, reduce ಅಂದರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, reuse ಅಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಾಳಾಗಿರೋದನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಇಯರ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಾಳಾಗಿರೋದನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಸರಿಪಡಿಸಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇದನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಇವಾಗ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ತ್ರೀ ways in which we can eliminate way in which one can eliminate the waste, that is reduce, reuse and recycle. So there are three R's of waste management, right? So R's, three R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. So this is how we can prevent the pollution, or this one can eliminate the waste, right? So this by following this step we can eliminate the waste, and also we can reduce the waste, also we can also avoid the pollution also, right? So yes, now let us move for the reduce, reuse and recycle. So what do you mean by reduce? Means here this implies that one should use the natural resources wisely and help to conserve them as much as possible. So for example, paper is obtained from the trees. We can reduce the use of paper by using it from both the sides, or taking printouts only when it is required. So in this way we are wisely using this natural resource. So we all know that we will get the paper from tree, right? So we said that don't waste the paper always, don't tear the papers, don't waste the papers. So this is why we used to say that, because the paper is made from the trees. So you see, reduce. So this implies that one should use the natural resources wisely. Yes, the natural resources like water, it may be water, and papers which we obtain from the tree, right? Water, pencil, even pencil is obtained from the wood, but the lead is different, right? So lead is not obtained from the wood, but the outer structure or the outer covering of the pencil is made of wood, right? So and also paper. So these are some of the things which we get from the nature itself, right? So we should avoid using this, we should wisely use, right? We should avoid using unnecessarily. We should wisely use these type of materials, and also should take out the printouts. So right, so if we unnecessarily take the printouts, means that results in the wastage of papers, right? So we should avoid the unnecessary printouts, and also we should wisely use this resource. And coming to the reuse and recycle. So here we learnt about the reduce, right? So reduce means we should avoid using unnecessarily, right? We should use wisely. ಹೌದಾ? ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಅದನ್ನು ಅನ್ನೆಸೆಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಬೇಕಾದ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೀಯೂಸ್. ಒನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೀಯೂಸ್ ದ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೊನೇಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಯೂಸ್ by others. For example, plastics can be used to make various colorful and useful objects like pencil, stand, plant vase, or and fruit bowl. Right. Similarly, one can donate old clothes, blankets, etc. to those in need. Right. So reuse. Reuse ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಆ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸು ನಮಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೊನೇಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಹೌದಾ? ಯಾವ ಥರ ಅಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಅಂದರೆ, ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು ಅಂದರೆ, ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಕಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬಾಟಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹೌದಾ? ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬೌಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವ ಥರ ಅಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬಾಟಲ್ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬಾಟಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ಡೇಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ tired of using that plastic bottle, then we can convert that plastic bottle into flower vase, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬಾಟಲ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಡೆಕೋರೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದು ಡೆಕೋರೇಟಿವ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಪುನಃ ಪುನಃ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಬ್ಲಾಂಕೆಟ್ಸು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಾತ್ಸು, ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಂಥ ಕ್ಲಾತ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರುವ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ reuse and also recycle. So coming to the recycle, there are some sources that can be recycled for fresh use. For example, paper can be recycled, right. So as I already told that recycle means we are using the waste one, right. So there these sources, so there are some sources which can be recycled for the fresh use. So here we are going to recycle some of the products, some materials, like it may be example, for example it may be paper, right. ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಹೊಸ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವ ಥರ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಾವು ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ನ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನೆ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ನಾವು ಒಣಗಿಸಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಥರ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ರೂಪ ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ. ಈ ಥರ ನಾವು ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾತ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ನ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಯರ್ 3 R's, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್, ರೀಯೂಸ್, ರೀಸೈಕಲ್. ಈ ಥರ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವು ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇಯರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು control the pollution and we can avoid the pollution using these R's, that is reduce, reuse and recycle. Reduce means we are going to use the natural resources or the available resources in a limited amount. Reuse means we are going to reuse those materials which cannot be used by us and that are in turn used by can be used by the others. And recycle means we are going to use the materials which can be recycled, like for example it may be paper, right. So here for you're having the checkpoints, so this will be your homework. And see here, for the short and long answer questions I'm going to give the notes, and in the next class I'll come with a new lesson. Thank you, have a nice day.